Hi, in this video we are going to continue the creation of the web application. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. This is where we start, and the notes for this exercise can be found on this web page, which is on this URL. The next thing we are going to do is to create a SQL data source to connect to the content in the database. So this is the database. The name is Kung Fu Panda Shop. We are going to pull data from the products table using the product code and product name to create a drop-down list. Okay. The first thing we want to do is create a SQL data source, which can be found on data in the toolbox data SQL data source, and we're going to pull this into the order.spx page. And you can pull it from the source view or the design view. I'm going to do it in the design view. So I'm just going to drag this guy over here. And I say I will configure data source, create a new connection. You can actually use the SQL server name, okay, which is the SQL server name here, all right? But I don't really like that name. I want to use localhost. Okay, I like localhost mainly because if I shift this code to another server and migrate the database over, it will still work. If I use a physical server name, I will have to put it at a common location, and every time I migrate, I need to change it. Okay, and then I use SQL Server Authentication. This the username I'm going to use is created by us, okay, web user. If you remember, the username and password for the web user is username is web user, password is my pass. So I'm just going to put username here, and then password is my pass. And then you can select or enter a database name. I'm just going to select Kung Fu Panda Shop, and I'm going to test connection. It will be successful, and then I say OK. So the connection string will be created for you. And then you say next. Yes, of course, you want to save this connection string. And they give you a chance to specify columns from the table view or specify a custom SQL statement. I'm a little bit lazy. I'm just going to do the second one. Okay. So I choose the products table. I want to select. I almost need everything. Okay. So I'm going to select everything except the category ID. I don't need category ID for this case. So I'm select this SQL statement will be generated for you in the format suitable for ASP.NET C#. So I'm going to go next. And of course you can test your query. That's the data being pulled out. Obviously is similar to what you see here because the data is being pulled. And that's really good. Okay, so you say finish. So let's see what we have actually done. Okay, what we have actually done, if you go to the source view, is you have actually created some code that allows you to pull data from the database. So let's save this. Okay, and the code will not be very useful. Will not be useful without this SQL data source. Okay, which can be found in web config. Okay, which is a connection string. All right, and it is it's called Kung Fu Panda Shop connection string, and it is being referenced again here. You can actually type this in yourself in Notepad++. It will work too, but you cannot make any mistakes, so Visual Studio actually help you to generate that. Okay, so that looks good. To prove that it's working, we are going to create a drop-down list, okay, in the design view. So I'm going to go to standard, drop-down list. I'm going to drag it here, and I'm going to choose a data source. Obviously, there's one data source, right? That is my SQL data source 1. And you want to select a data field to display. So data field that I want is going to be called product name, and then the value is going to be product code. So I'm going to say the data field is product name, and the value is product code. And I say OK. So you have a drop-down list done for you. Save your work. Obviously, you cannot see the effect here. So let's go test it out. Come here, reload. You are going to pull the data from the database and shown here. This is exactly the data in the SQL database. Okay. So it's not very clear what you want to show, right? Because actually I want the user to select a product. This is the final output I want. So I'm going to add a label on the left. Let me go back here, go back to my source view. I want to add a label to the left, which is here. I'm going to say, hey, the label is select a product. And I'm going to add a couple of BRs here to create more space below the form. Okay. Let me save my work. Come over here and reload. That looks much closer than this guy. So the next step we're going to do is to, when you choose this, the data here will change as well. Okay. The data is already saved. The data is already retrieved by obviously this statement. So the data is already there. All we need to do is put it onto the screen here. Okay. So I think this is a good place to stop. We are going to put the data here in the next video. Thanks for watching.